Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. And this is a pretty special video to me because, a couple of my friends have really been getting into the Dreamcast lately. I don't know what it is, but the Dreamcast is one of my favorite systems of all time. I got into it quite late, but, it's a great system because while it doesn't have a whole lot of games in its library, there are some really nice gems, and there's some games that I feel like are kind of overlooked. So what I'm going to do is I want to show you guys some games that you definitely should check out if you haven't. I feel like these games don't get enough recognition, some of them more so than others, but definitely check them out.
Now, one genre that Dreamcast was notorious for was fighting games, and Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves is one of the best you can play on the system. Now, you can talk to many people and they'll talk about Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and while that's a great game in its own right, Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves had that Neo Geo classic polished arcade feel that any person that's really serious about fighting games grabs an arcade stick and they just go to town on this game. Gunbird 2 is one of my favorite bullet hell shooters of all time, and I love this game on the Dreamcast. It has such a great arcade feel. It's over the top, over exaggerated, just freaking crazy. It feels like I just drank like a whole case of Rockstar energy drinks, ate a bunch of candy, ran around in circles, and just shot the hell out of everything. If you like over the top arcade action, this is definitely a game you should check out. I highly recommend this title. Another excellent action RPG on the Dreamcast is called Silver, and the story focuses around a young warrior named David and his quest to bring back his wife from the clutches of a villain. On his journey, he gains a number of different followers and visits different landscapes, and the game features that polygonal 3D characters drawn against 2D rendered backgrounds. I absolutely love that. And the character design is also inspired a lot by anime and manga. And while the battle system is notably being completely in real time, as opposed to light role-playing games which had turn-based combat, the game really focuses on elements such as fire, ice, health, earth, acid, and many other orbs that you can collect in the game. This is definitely a fun game. I don't hear enough people talk about it. A cult classic on the Sega Dreamcast, Ill Bleed. While it's not as polished as, say, Resident Evil Code Veronica, and the tank controls can be a little off-putting for newcomers to this genre, the story has some cheesy voice acting, and it has an interesting atmosphere of a hellish theme park with traps that creates this really unique journey. What I really like about this game is you use a tool called the Horror Monitor, and it kind of consumes the player's adrenaline, and the player can mark various places suspected of being a trap. These traps can burn, slice, and dice, and scare the player in various different ways, resulting in blood loss, rise of pulse, lowered stamina. So that means the environment itself is a threat to the player, and in addition to the enemies, the player is given tools and items to prevent the character from bleeding to death. Talk about some heavy stuff. Project Justice, also known as Rival Schools 2 on the Sega Dreamcast, is an excellent fighting gem. Now, this is an import. It might cost you a little bit of extra money, but it's definitely worth checking out. And it follows the Rival Schools series that was first seen on the Sony PlayStation. And it takes place in one of the most dangerous settings we can imagine. That's right, high school. You have 20 characters to select, and each one has their own different weapons like baseball bats, you got game members, club presidents, and of course cheerleaders. Many of our favorites from the Rival School series are back with new additions, and if you're a huge fan of tag team action like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and you're looking for that little 3D flavor, definitely check this out. Elemental Gimmick Gear is definitely one of those games I don't hear enough people talk about on the Sega Dreamcast. Now, if you're a huge fan of action RPGs like The Legend of Zelda or Burning Oasis, this game's right up your alley. And while it offers all the basics that we love of action RPGs, it does offer a very unique battle system. And also with the mix of steampunk and anime style cutscenes, this game's a definite must-play.
Guys, that's just some of the games in my collection that I definitely love having, and I feel like a lot more people should be playing them. And I hope this video was very informative, and if you haven't given the time for the Dreamcast, or you've always thought about getting one, definitely check them out. It's a great system, great library of games. If you're a huge arcade fan like I am, then this is something to get. And as you can see, they also have some action RPGs as well. So if you like role-playing games, good fighting games, shoot 'em ups like I do, this is definitely a system to check out. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing, and as always, happy gaming.